like a therapy session, Jake. It's like I flesh it all out, and then I go, oh, here it is. You're a good sounding board. I'm Debbie Gibson. Hi. Summer. Pizza. These days, watch the movie. Like, I don't really have the bandwidth to focus on a book. The romantic answer is read the book, but the realistic answer is the movie. You know, it's taken me 20 years to feel like there was a body of work, a group of songs that really said something profound and new and interesting and relevant, in my opinion, to my life and to the lives of people in my generation, especially. And so I feel like that's really what I want them to know, is that I've never been one to like frivolously throw music out there. And I didn't want this new chapter to start with anything but my very best. And it's super personal and it's super transformative. So like, one of the things I love about the Body Remembers album is that it speaks to going through challenges, my challenges I've been through, I think everybody out there who deals with whatever they're dealing with. But in the course of almost every song, there's a twist. And it's like, the song might start where you're, curled up in the fetal position crying. By the end, you're dancing. It's very real and raw, but it's also meant to inspire, transform, and lift you up.
What do I do while I'm waiting for the pain to go away? What do I do when I wake and say, hey, where's the sun today? What do I do? Do it myself now. Oh, I look to the sky, but I can't find love's sweet lullaby. And I must do much more than try and just try. Okay, I'm gonna do it. 1, 2. This is me not loving you. If only that were true. I walk past Darrell Street, not thinking, hey, this used to be the place to be. Not waving at the people, waving at me. Not putting on a show. And I'm not looking down, so I'm not missing hearts on the ground. Not missing the way you cuff your jeans and sing only my dreams of kings. Not me. This is me not loving you. Never stops to weather. Saying, what else could I do? No, no, no. To be yours forever. This is the me. Not being me. You said say that we're true. I'm not singing this love song. I'm not playing girl be strong. Yes, I stumble along the avenue. This is the me, being the me, doing that thing I said I never do. Now this is me not loving you. Now if only that were true. You said you never do it. Me not loving you.
You know, I always say I have to be living life to write a great song, because if you're living some like showbiz life that's not connected to reality or people's real lives, the songs are going to feel kind of elitist. They're not going to connect. So A, I have to be living a real life, a kind of a grittier life. And B, I have to get to the place of like a little bit of boredom in my home, like kind of puttering so that melodies have the space to drop in and lyrics have the space to drop in. So it's kind of in that order, like I'm living, and then I'm like calming things down, and then the ideas come. But there's no rituals because songs come at any hour. Sometimes it's like a melody or a concept first. Sometimes the lyrics and the music come together. So I've learned to just be like the open channel and expect the unexpected, which is really exciting because I almost can't take credit for writing my songs because it feels like they come from somewhere otherworldly. And I'm just like, all right, I don't know who's dropping that in, but I'm getting the pen, I'm getting the piano, and then I get proactive about crafting it. But it's a pretty mystical process, honestly. Legendary is a song that I really, really connect to, and it really combines a lot of things that I love about music. Like, I lived in London for a year, and I remember like Cockney rhyming slang, and it had like a pulse and a rhythm, and the verses have that rhythm, and it's got like the rhythm of the street, like of the world, and it speaks to being legendary and what it means. And to me, it doesn't just mean, oh, you're given a God-given talent and you're famous. To me, it means you're the neighbor down the street who's kind to all the kids on Halloween and gives out the best candy. It means you're generous of spirit. It means you root for other people. That literally makes me well up with tears when I think about that, because there's nothing better than people who root for other people. And to me, those people are legends. And this song was really tricky to produce and mix because it's got all these elements and kind of like 3 different styles of music rolled into one, and marrying it all was kind of complex. Fred Corey, who's the drummer for Cinderella and also a dear friend and an amazing producer, he scores for TV, does all this stuff, and a 21-year-old I work with named Sean Thomas, and an incredible mixer, legendary mixer Brian Malouf, all combined forces to add, like, again, the modern, the classic. It's just kind of this like melting pot of styles, and the way it came together feels really epic and cinematic, and I'm just particularly proud of that one and excited by that one. I am always laying in my bed with one eye open, online shopping for concert costumes. Many of which you'll see tonight. I'm going to be wearing this crystal and sheer catsuit that Instagram recommended to me. It was like, hey, you might like this shop. You know, I'm kind of like, well, hope this fits. And you never know. Like, there are some misses, but the ones that hit, they hit. Like the Pride costume I wore in DC and the cat suit, and there's like another romper. They literally, though, one eye open, scrolling, ordering online.
Here we go, here we go. Cincinatti, let me see those hands, come on. as real as it may seem when you feel like I feel and my world it still spins round. Though it feels like I'm tumbling down. Can a girl be lost without her man? See you in the night in dreamland. Gonna get you back some way, somehow. I'm gonna take you back now. No, only in my dreams. Sing with me, come on. As real as it may. It was only in my dreams. It was only when I felt it, baby. No, only in my dreams. As real as it may seem. It was only in my dreams. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Thank you, guys. I love my Joey McIntyre. Joey and I are such kindred spirits, and he at one point called me his pop soulmate, and I was like, ditto. We are so similar because, you know, we started when we started, and coming up in the 80s in pop, sometimes you get pigeonholed, and we've both really evolved and like kind of carved our own lanes. And so it was really exciting when our lanes kind of converged. But like we've both done theater and we've both done TV and film and we write. And we're always looking to up our game. And both of us are super connected to our fans, to our audiences. So, which cross over too, which is exciting. We share a lot of fans. And so I always love doing creative stuff with him. Sharing the stage with him was amazing. Recording Heartbreak Holiday with Joey was amazing. And we wrote it kind of accidentally on a phone call. I actually was like, you know, I know you said you didn't want to do any holiday stuff with me, because he did. You know, I think he might have meant like a holiday concert or something. And I was like, you know, I have this idea for a holiday song. And at first I had Holiday Heartbreak. He goes, you know, I've been toying around with this melody. And he had a little bit of the melody for the verse, and I had a little bit of the melody for the chorus. And I go, hey, you want to just write it right now? He's like, let's just roll. And we just rolled with it. I went to the piano. And it was just born super spontaneously. Because not everyone's like doing backflips at holiday time. There are people who are dealing with loss, romantic loss, grieving, whatever those things are. So I thought it was like a really important theme to represent on the album. I've been wanting to make a holiday album forever. And I am a big fan of timing. And much like I was talking about with the Body Remembers, I think you have to let the songs lead the way. And until I had songs that in my mind could like really resonate with people along with the traditional classics that people have been hearing for decades, it just wasn't worth doing. I didn't want to throw schlock out there. So I waited, and I feel so great about this album. And again, it was just like kind of part of the new chapter. It was very ambitious to release 2 albums essentially in 1 year. It's a lot of work, and it just felt like the right time. I am a fan of original holiday music. It's like, I feel like when Mariah came out with her album, it really inspired a lot of artists to up their game and put something out that was new but felt homey and cozy and classic. It was also really important for me to include a Hanukkah song. And in looking, I realized there weren't a ton of kind of modern, original Hanukkah songs. And I always loved the story of Hanukkah. It's so inspirational. And growing up on Long Island, there was a huge Jewish community. And so I was really proud of Illuminate and the message, which is really the message that I live every day, which is you think you don't have enough, but you do when you need it. It's such a beautiful universal message. And doing that song on tour and seeing people in the audience like, thank you for writing something for me, was super meaningful. It was so hard to pick the songs I wanted to cover for Winterlicious. I mean, I feel like I'm going to at some point do like, you know, here's another, add to the music, which you can do now, of course, digitally and all that especially. But it was really hard to decide on what songs I wanted to cover. But in going back to like my youth, White Christmas, my dad and I used to sit around the piano. We also did Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, but for some reason, in that moment, the simple message of Just Dreaming of a White Christmas and May All Your Christmases Be Bright. The simplicity spoke to me, and my dad's gorgeous voice, which never was recorded till now, on that song is just so meaningful. You know, I lost my mom a year and a half ago, and she always wanted him to record. And to have my dad still here at 80, rocking it on the album was amazing. I've always wanted to record in other languages. I studied Spanish in school. I love Latin flavored music, which you can hear on the Body Remembers and What Are We Gonna Do? And you can hear in the Christmas song Jingle Bell Rock Medley on Winterlicious. I love live percussion. It's on my stage tonight. So possibly a Latin album. I love that question so much because I love my fans so much, which I really call my community, my family. Like, so many of them have been with me through every twist and turn, because in showbiz, you're up, you're down, you're hot, you're not, you're in, you're out. And, you know, I did Broadway, and it's like they have followed me and supported me every step of the way. And I think because of that, it always gives me a sense of freedom to explore musically. I'm not out to please a head of a record label, because my manager and I are the heads of my record label. I'm not out to top the charts. If that happens, it happens. I'm out to make great music for people who really are going to get something out of it, you know? And so knowing that those people are out there, knowing that they are ready to receive, although I do feel like even they were surprised, especially by Body Remembers, because listen, you know, you take someone like me of my generation who kind of disappeared on the pop scene for a while and came back. Who knew what I was going to do? I actually have super modern musical sensibilities, and I don't know that everybody knows that. So it was very exciting to present that. And my diehards really were like, yes, they felt kind of validated too. Like, okay, we're all about to have a moment. Like there was this excitement and anticipation, and it's just gone on this whole journey now, you know, for 2 years of touring on it, and it's been incredible. But yeah, I think to encapsulate that, my fans give me permission to evolve. They give me permission to have like a freedom in exploring all of my musical styles and adventures, and they are along for the ride with me. I feel like I spoke to these women, you women, when you were all little girls. And sorry, I'm breaking the third wall. And I feel like we are all kind of in this new chapter together. And again, it's a time where I think women have the ultimate permission and freedom to be vital, to be vibrant, to be eternally electric. And, you know, I think it's just never too late to start something new. I really believe that. I always say, in 5 years, you're going to be 5 years older anyway. So if you've always wanted to learn the piano, start now. In 5 years, you're going to be 5 years better than you are now. That's going to be pretty good. And I just think that so many women sacrifice so many things for people around them, and often they forget to refuel, and they forget to give themselves that food for the soul, whether it's through, again, an artistic endeavor they've always dreamed of doing, or whatever the things are, charitable work. And so, girls, I say go for it.
I record, it's always with the purpose of being able to do this and performing it live. So, you know, I'm doing everything independently. I'm doing it the hard way because I was in this system for a long time. Yeah. And I don't like somebody putting my life on an itinerary and telling me what to do. So I'm doing it myself. But, you know, it's independent. So, you know, we don't have an extravagant set up here or anything. But I was like, I need just like one kind of like centerpiece for the set. So I went on Amazon, as you do when you're looking for a set piece for your tour, with one eye open in the bed, scrolling and surfing. And how many of you read dimensions on Amazon? That's what I want to know when you're ordering something. 0. Yeah, I ordered like some kind of like therapy yoga ball last week that I thought was like, and it's like, oh my God, okay, Deb, you gotta start reading dimensions. So I found this cool chair, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be like me as the pop queen and this big throne, and this is the chair. So, it's a great chair. My dogs love it at home. It spent the whole year in my piano room. The dogs lay around on it. And it used to have legs, as you just saw when Michael flipped it. So, yeah, it used to have legs. Those came off on the last tour. And, you know, I just was like, and then this started happening, by the way, the other day. Yeah. Hot glue gun, anyone? DIY? DIYers out there? So, what'd you say, Gorilla Glue? See, I'm getting advice. This is amazing. Thank you, sir. What's your name? Randy. You fix stuff, you make stuff, all of it. I love that. I love that so much. So, wait, he's giving me more advice. Hold on.
It's a local product, too. Gorilla Glue. It's made right here.
Oh my God, Gorilla Glue made right here in Cincinnati. I'm gonna have to go late night shopping for Gorilla Glue. Anyone wanna go? Okay, so, oh my God, this is the world's longest story. It's not even that good, but I'm just dragging it out apparently. Okay, anyway, I was like, this chair is coming back for another round because I feel it's symbolic of all of us who have been through stuff. We're like a little broken down, the wheels are coming off the bus, so to speak, but we get out there front and center anyway. So a round of applause for yourselves in the red chair. All right, it's like a futon chair hybrid. I feel like I should market that. Maybe we go into business together on that. Okay. So I'm gonna do something off the new album for you right now, and it's a song, thank you. It's a song that came to me kind of in the 11th hour, and I held up the album to put it on, because it was so meaningful to me. I always notice when people reach out with an agenda, and when people reach out just to be generous and say hello, and they don't expect anything in return. And also in the theme of this song, when people kind of do you wrong, and then they expect you to be where they left you. And yeah, oh, thank you. You're gonna really like this one. Okay, here it is, strings.
Everywhere I look, strings. People say, what's in it for me? Nothing coming my way for free. It ain't pretty, oh. Everywhere I look, strings. No one knows how much it stings. I don't want nothing, no harm, unless it's the strings of your heart. Unless it's the strings of your heart. Give me your heartstrings, give me your heartstrings. He said he wanted me, I was his forever. But I was with him, and he was with her. When he didn't pick me, well, I moved on. Then he came back to me, but I was long gone. In the wake of his indecisive love, I found my wings, and I flew above it. Then he came back to me, thinking I would still be where I stood. I said, I wish I could, but everywhere I look, strings. People say, what's in it for me? Nothing coming my way for free, and it ain't pretty, oh. Everywhere I look, strings. The bell of duality rings. I don't want nothing, no more, unless it's the strings of your heart. Unless it's the strings of your heart. Oh, give me your heartstrings, give me your heartstrings. You know, people move on. You don't love them back, one day they're gone. Not the story that you want to hear, but love don't go, yeah, well, maybe next year. Why you gotta celebrate, learn to appreciate, follow all the twists in your twisted fate. Cause now, it's for me that I'm here. And my pain is not an opportunity. It's a little too late, you see. I was gonna let you bring out the best in me, but when you didn't, when I was in it, the faith I lost in you, I found in me. Everywhere I look, no one said what's in it for me, cause I'm finally
Thank you.
I am having so much fun now because, obviously the 80s were great to me, but they were a whirlwind. Like, I, for real, traveled around the country so many times and never saw any of it because I was, like, worrying myself to death over my shows and my voice and this and that. And I still, I'm very disciplined and I focus on what I do, but I've made up my mind that I'm going to look out the window this time. I'm not only looking out the window, I'm driving my own RV quite often. So I just feel like I'm really savoring every moment right now, and everything has more meaning, and especially because I'm going into my 37th year of doing this publicly. And so when I am in a room like this, like we will be tonight, with hundreds of people or thousands of people, depending on the venue, and people are singing with me, and they're singing these songs I wrote. There's a line in Legendary, you're feeling the crowd, they're singing out loud what you wrote. Who gets to do that? It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. It's not wasted on me. I'm so grateful that I'm having this chapter. And sometimes I stop when I'm doing one of the hits and I think, how many collective memories are in this room with all these people right now that circle back to this song? This little song that as a little girl, I just wrote like little girls write in their diary. I was like, I get lost in your eyes, just speaking from my heart. And people are swaying and people are singing and people are crying and people are reliving a moment in their life. It's so profound. I could say moments about myself and like the chart positions and whatever, but when Elton John invited me to do Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds with he and Billy Joel together at Madison Square Garden when I was 18, and me having grown up idolizing both of them, their songwriting, their playing, it's the first thing that comes to my mind because as such a little girl, it was such a feeling of like, oh my God, like I'm in the club. I'm first of all, for those two guys to even know who I am, my dad like stood in line for tickets and paid $70 to a scalper and like to get me into Billy Joel at 14. And then literally 4 years later, I'm on stage with him. And not just any stage, Madison Square Garden. So it was insane. When you do a pop album, even though for me, like there are different elements, there's still a cohesiveness to the sound. And I feel like Christmas albums, holiday albums allow you freedom to like do a samba song 1 minute and do a full orchestra song the next minute and do Heartbreak Holiday, which is super modern, the next minute. It's like anything goes. So I allowed myself that feeling of anything goes. Because I think that when I think back to Christmases, like in my late grandma Josephine and Albert's house, everything was so alive, right? And everything, I'm going to get teary. Everything was just changing from 1 minute to the next. 1 minute, people are singing together, and then it's chaotic, and the uncles are arguing, and we're, Josephine, get back to the table. Ow, I'm making the ziti. Just like there's chaos, there's kids, there's Santa, and so you can go on that ride with the music. And so I did. I really loved it because, we virtually, it was a lot of things were done like starting in the pandemic and just coming out of it. So there's been a lot of virtual ways of making music, of course, and I got to use a full orchestra virtually on The Gift, which is an original, and Let It Snow. And it was so amazing and a dream come true. And as a composer, like when I was writing The Gift, I was hearing those string lines in my head, and I was hearing that lusciousness. And so I kind of lived out every fantasy that fit every specific song on this album. One step closer, DJ Tracy Young and I worked on a song called Girls Night Out. She did a remix that ended up becoming the kind of main version of the song. And I said, I want you to send me some tracks because I love writing melody and lyrics, and I usually write all my music myself, but I love when you find collaborators that you resonate with, they're only going to bring out something new. So like she's going to bring out a song in me that I never would have written without her inspiration. And she sent me several tracks, and I was like, not it. She was in Paris DJing, and she sent me this track. And I was like, oh, this is very Dua Lipa. It's very like, it's what I was doing in clubs at 16, but now. And then I came up with that, you lit me up when baby. And it's really about how something that you perceive as being a heartbreak, being something negative, really can be the stepping stone to leading you to your next great place. That could be your next great love, or it could be bringing you closer to yourself and learning more about you and kind of embracing your independence more. And so there is that line in that song about love, trust, and being enough. So it's kind of like, you know what? I'm going to take this experience and this person I thought was a love who kind of made me feel crazy, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to let it empower me and move me forward. And so I loved working on that song so much in every way. You're like, what's this? Let's find out.
The friend zone, coming up, my baby, cause I know you're home. Gonna dance for you, gonna make it right and do the things you never knew you wanted it to. Flip it and soon you'll be seeing me with my brand new. When I dance for you, I just think it's so down quick. When I dance for you, when I dance for you, there we go. With us, some more. You be looking at me like, hey, why you never do this before? When I hit it, you're like, ooh, yeah, she's my candy store. It's a love breakthrough when I dance for you.
I love the spontaneity of performing live because every day the energy in a room is different, the venue is different, my voice is different, the way I feel is different, the way the band is playing is different. Things go wrong. I love when things go wrong, actually, because I see it as an opportunity to give everyone a moment they weren't expecting. Like, we had keyboards that wouldn't play last night and parts that were off and whatever, and it was like, okay, well, I have to now play the keyboard all the way through, and I have to kind of mimic like the bass part and mimic the, like, I just took it as a moment to like, well, at least I'm a musician and we're all musicians and we can make this work in a different way. And then you recruit people, like people are like, oh my God, like she's up on a high wire and we're witnessing this. Like, it's a little crazy. I do love that anything can happen live. Everything and anything does eventually. And you get to share the moment with this group of people this one time. It's really cool.